Welcome back to Almost Above Average. I am Chris McIntyre, and today I want to introduce Kash Patel, for those who don't know him. He is currently our FBI director. But before you say, who the hell is this? Take a look at this.
Would testify before Congress that she feared that Kash Patel, for example, had opened up a kind of back channel to Donald Trump to try to field documents to him related to Ukraine in the midst of his first impeachment trial. She had no idea what those documents were saying, but I think it was an early sign of just his willingness to sort of subvert protocol procedure to gain even more closeness with the president. And I think another good recent example is that as Kash Patel and Trump and everyone else left the first administration, Trump, of course, brought several classified documents with him back to Mar-a-Lago. And in the question of the classification status, Kash Patel was the one who stepped forth and said that Donald Trump had verbally declassified them and that he had been there to witness. I had several sources and other outlets have reported the same that said that this was not accurate. But that's just a taste of the kind of things that he's willing to do. I'll note finally that I had a former senior administration official tell me in the course of reporting my story that Donald Trump knows that Kash Patel is the person that he can say to, look, I'm not telling you to break into the DNC, but wouldn't it be great if that could happen?
That guy, the man that Donald Trump trusted him so much that he handed him the keys to the FBI. And the more you learn about how he got there, the more obvious it is. His time in this administration is definitely running out. So who is Kash Patel? Let's start with the basics. Kash Patel didn't come up through the FBI. He started as a public defender and then a terrorism prosecutor. Real cases, real stakes, a normal government lawyer story. But here's a polished version of that TV seems to like.
Kash Patel, an Indian-American lawyer and Trump loyalist who was initially...
If you made it this far in the video, thank you. I would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe, hit like, and dropped a comment. Have a great day.
Set to be named the CIA's deputy director in Trump's first term. Now with the former president back in power, Patel is again being considered for the role, and some believe he could be the front runner for the top job.
But his real turning point wasn't in the courtroom. It was when he went full MAGA warrior on the House Intelligence Committee, working for Devin Nunes. He helped turn the Trump-Russia investigation into a deep state conspiracy story, instead of an actual fact-finding mission. So here's that era and the Nunes memo and his deep state phase that made him a MAGA superstar.
A relatively obscure staffer on Capitol Hill. He wrote what came to be known as the Nunes memo. And that is an important document because it was a central part of the Republicans' fight against the FBI investigation of possible connections between Russia and the Trump campaign.
And once Trump saw him as a loyal supporter, Kash got promoted, just like a meme stock. National Security Council, Intel community, the Pentagon. Everywhere that Trump had a national security fight, there was Kash Patel backing him up. Watch how often his name shows up around Trump's national security moves.
About Patel, but Democrats have laid out quite the case against him, alleging that he had knowledge about mass firings happening within the FBI, and he potentially perjured himself during his confirmation hearing by saying he was not privy to what was going on there. They're also alleging that under his leadership, the FBI just wouldn't be independent from the president, and they're calling him ultimately a danger to this country if he is confirmed.
Then Trump comes back into power, and then he decides, who should run the FBI? Not a career agent. Definitely not someone who's worked inside the bureau before, but that dude that's been attacking the FBI for years, saying that they're a corrupt organization. Let's pick him. So that's how Kash Patel became the top cop in America. Not because he's the most qualified, but because he is the most reliable political hitman that Trump has. And from day one, people have been saying exactly that.
They're also alleging that under his leadership, the FBI just wouldn't be independent from the president, and they're calling him ultimately a danger to this country if he is confirmed.
If you're going to run the FBI, Kash, step one should be don't lie to Congress on camera. Apparently, Kash Patel must have missed that memo. His confirmation and oversight hearings have been a marathon of I don't recall, and flat denials of the things that whistleblowers absolutely say he did. Here's Kash Patel under oath when the questions actually get sharp.
Yes or no, did you say that? I don't have that statement in front of me. But
Okay, that was from August 27th, 2023, Thrive Time show. I'll put it on the record. These claims made in that statement were rejected by courts, including by Republican judges. Is that correct?
I don't have enough of the facts in front of me to make that assessment.
I will put that statement on the record, but I think everyone in this committee, including the Republican members, knows that these statements were rejected by courts. You were asked about the police officers in the Capitol who testified in the January 6 hearings, and you accused them of lying. Is that correct or not correct?
I don't think that's accurate.
Okay, Joe Packed podcast, March 2024, we'll put it on the record. I was there. The police officers were heroes that day.
Yes.
Did you post on your personal social media account in May of 2024, January 6th, never an insurrection, cowards in uniforms exposed. They broke the chain of command.
I believe you're referencing a post that was shown in part earlier. I don't have it in front of me.
You posted it, and it was on your account, and we will again put that out there once more as we go on. I don't want.
Watch his pattern. When he's asked about purging the FBI agents who worked on Trump-related cases, suddenly he doesn't know what's going on at the FBI. All of a sudden, he gets amnesia. When he's pressed on backing the January 6 rioters, then he tries to distance himself from previous comments. This is not a careful, independent FBI director defending an institution. This is a political operative, trying not to get caught in his own contradictions while the cameras are rolling. The FBI director is supposed to be boring in the best possible way, steady, apolitical, and it's typically someone that spent their entire life in law enforcement. But Kash Patel is the opposite. He's never worked inside the FBI. He built his brand by attacking the FBI, and he openly talks about cleaning out the enemies. Here's how that shows up in coverage of Kash Patel.
Stuff that the FBI has seized from Epstein's house, the computers, the emails, the file cabinets, the documents. What about the financial records? Have you released all of that?
Everything the court has allowed us to release.
Which court are you talking about?
3 separate federal courts have come in and said.
We're talking about the evidence you've got. It's got nothing to do with what those courts have.
Do you have any idea how the law works? Do you want me to break the law in a federal judge's order?
No, I want you to follow your own
curiosity?
word, Director Patel. You said up there it was under the direct control of the FBI director. He had the black book.
Everything I have direct control over, we have gone to court. You haven't.
Complete your sentence. Everything you have direct control over, you said.
Have gone to court, and everything we have direct control
Patel,
over.
Complete your sentence. You said everything.
Release. We're releasing.
Much more has come out in the days since the American people in Congress have been demanding it, but it's coming out in dribs and drabs. Why don't you just release the entire file as you promised to do?
I literally just told you there are multiple federal court orders. I'm not going to break the law to satisfy your curiosity. You didn't join us when we filed court to release the court orders. You could have.
Not just the Democrats. Even some of the Republicans are hearing this and saying, look, even our own agents are calling your own performance unqualified and unfit. When your employees and the oversight committee think you're just a wrecking ball, you're not the right guy to run the FBI, for sure. When you run an agency this powerful, you don't get 9 lives. You get maybe one big scandal, and Kash is already stacking them up. Alleged perjury in his confirmation hearing, retaliatory firings, and a politicized purge of career FBI agents, and a high-profile case that he seemed more interested in spinning online than actually solving. This is how those hearings are playing on TV, and it's not the new director settling in. The Republicans and the Democrats are collectively, what is this guy doing now? Every story like this chips away at the legitimacy that every FBI director needs. Legitimacy. If your agents don't trust you, and Congress doesn't trust you, and the public is seeing you as a political hitman, you're one bad week away from becoming a complete liability to this administration. So where does this go? Trump loves loyalists, right up until they start costing him more than they protect him. Kash Patel is becoming a cost. Senators are calling him dishonest and dangerous. Legal experts are screaming he's unqualified, and even daytime TV is roasting him based on his conduct from the hearing. Listen to how the people are describing him. You don't keep an FBI director who can't answer basic questions in a hearing. He openly fantasizes about punishing his critics and treats the Bureau of Investigation like it's its own personal revenge tool. His power has always depended upon one thing: Trump thinking he's useful. And the minute Kash becomes more trouble than he's worth, he's gone. And giving the hearing, the headlines, and the growing pushback, that clock is ticking fast. You tell me if it sounds like the person that should be running the most powerful law enforcement apparatus in America. This is almost above average. And this is what unqualified power looks like. When it's put in charge, Kash Patel didn't stumble into this job. He was chosen because he's willing to break the norms that keep law enforcement independent. If you think the FBI director should serve the law and not one man's ego, hit like, drop a comment, and share this with someone that thinks this is just politics as usual. I'm Chris McIntyre. Stay loud, stay curious, and stay almost above average. See you on the next one. Peace.